Hello, everyone. No shout out this week because we've lost another creator in Transformers. This is David Schleinkoffer, and unfortunately, this is a name most people have never heard before this week. And I'll be honest, I had never heard of David Schleinkoffer in the artist circle of Transformers. He was a very talented artist, a very accomplished artist, but he was more of a fantasy artist. He worked on several famous franchises. Robotech is probably the thing he's most famous for that's adjacent to Transformers. But for the most part, like I said, he was more fantasy, think more Dungeons and Dragons, that type of vibe. But he did one major piece of art for Transformers, and it was the main line art for the first year of the franchise. Even if you went to a Walmart a few years ago and got the G1 Optimus Prime or Hot Rod reissues, you saw this art. This is one of the most famous pieces of art from the early days of Transformers. It's very weird by our standards, but keep in mind, David was using the toy designs and trying to make sense of everything. It's iconic art, and it's art that many people would have had posters of or lunchboxes with. Every toy you bought had this art on it. And I hate that David Schleinkoffer is an artist who brought this massive piece of culture to Transformers. And yet when I went to look at the news that he passed, almost all the comments were something to the effect of, I never knew this person's name, but looking back on it, he's an incredible artist. A handful of people said like, oh, I actually knew him from this or that, and he was always super nice. I never knew he worked on Transformers. This is something I'm constantly banging on about. I don't care about Hasbro. I don't care if that company goes under tomorrow. What I care about are the creators and the workers inside. I care about the toy designers. I care about the artists. I care about the people working on the media. I don't care if Cox and the other CEOs all took a nosedive tomorrow. I don't. But I care immensely for the people who actually did put the work into this franchise, who actually did make the characters, who actually did make us care. Because it's not a marketing machine that made us care. It was creatives that made us care. It was actors and animators and toy designers. And yes, artists too. I'm really sad that this is the first I've ever heard of David. But I also want to pay my proper respects. Yes, he only had one brush with Transformers, but that brush, my word, it's some of the most iconic imagery the series has ever had. So I hate that we've lost David Schleinkoffer, but I hope that we can all take a moment and properly celebrate his small corner of the Transformers community and fandom. But we'll carry on with the news. So, sightings this week was actually pretty interesting. This isn't really a sighting, I just want to point this out. People are getting their Omega Prime from HasLab. It looks incredible. I wish I had the money to back this when it was up, but I'm really glad that everyone who's grabbed this toy, it sounds like this is the best toy HasLab's put out. It's right up there with Deathsaurus for a lot of people. We're starting to see the new Earthspark Deluxes hit places, Soundwave and Hashtag specifically. Apparently they're hitting Target. They are packed in a refresh wave alongside Optimus and Thrash. The only issue is there's another refresh wave out at the same time that's a full case of just Bumblebee, which is the reason why I'm not seeing these guys yet, so hopefully I will, because I would like Soundwave and Hashtag. Yellow Park is showing off Tarn and Starscream. They are finally out. They just hit store shelves in Singapore, and they should be getting out to online stores very soon. These are non-transforming, but they are masterpiece scale, and both of them look absolutely fantastic. Third Party had a good showing this week, kind of out of nowhere. So for one, New Age is showing the recolors for William, so they're going to do the obvious redeco, which is the red Sunstreaker, the original Diaclone transforming toy. That's good, that's what Missing Link should have done. But of course, we're also getting Cordon, if you're a weirdo and really need Cordon. I will say, I think he should have had the police bar. I don't like the fact that he doesn't have his police bar. It feels a little bit too meh now. And I was about to say, isn't Shattered Glass Sunstreaker white and black? No, Shattered Glass Sunstreaker is based on Alternator's Dead End. He's Dead End colors. Really more Wild Rider colors, but even still, it's fine. I'm not big on Cordon, though. Fans Hobby is showing off their Masterpiece Scale Tiger Hawk. So just to be clear here, we're looking at one toy. The yellow and blue is the inner robot, and he's going to have snap-on pieces to be the Pretender armor, and then he's also going to be able to transform into the jet. I've seen a lot of people say, like, oh, this looks a whole lot like Legacy United Metal Hawk. And all I can think is, yeah, that's because Metal Hawk's Legacy toy is actually really good, really accurate. This is more accurate, but at the same time, this is a purpose-made sculpt, whereas Metal Hawk is just a really good Cyclonus reskin. Dr. Wu had some good showings. We're seeing more of his Devastator, so now we know what Long Haul and Hook are going to look like. Keep in mind, this is going to be a Micromaster Devastator based on the War Within. There's a whole lot of little things in there that I like. Also, I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've ever had a Cybertronian Devastator of any type, which is pretty cool. But Dr. Wu kept on coming. Dr. Wu is teaming up with Mechanic Studios to do Broadside. So this is going to be, again, a Micromaster Scale Broadside, one of my favorite triple changers that just never seems to get a good toy. This is a pretty solid looking Broadside, all things considered. What's really cool is that the first 500 pre-orders are going to come with little jets based on the aerial bots. So the cool thing that Times Return Broadside did, you can get here. But then I got to thinking, wait a minute, those jets were super small. This is a Micromaster Broadside. How tiny are those jets going to be? You're going to need tweezers to use those, dude. They also are going to do two different versions of the robot. We saw the normal design with the last one, but we're also getting the other cartoon design, which is the red-faced guy, and the kind of prototype colors, which are a little bit more smokescreen-esque. I'm going to go back. I would personally prefer to get this guy with the white head. When I think, what does Broadside look like, I think of this. But it is nice that we're getting options to get all the designs out. Now, official reveals. There were a couple of big ones this week. For one, why am I forgetting this? Killer Body, yeah. Killer Body is doing a life-sized Frenzy toy. This Frenzy is going to be 3 feet tall. I saw people getting really mad about this tiny Frenzy that they had on display, being like, what? Is Killer Body trying to bamboozle us? That's not 3 feet. Killer Body literally said, hey guys, this isn't the real one. This is just the miniature that we're going to like blow the sculpt up of. So this is a mock-up of the sculpt that they're then going to make 3 feet tall. And I'm going to say this too. Why is everyone angry about the 3 foot tall Frenzy? I'm angry. I'm not angry. I'm laughing at it because it's like, why do you need a 3 foot tall Frenzy? You're buying a roommate. Like, I know I say that all the time about the City Formers. At least with the City Formers, they're supposed to be big. You're literally buying a life-sized Frenzy. You're buying a roommate if you get this Frenzy. The one I'm a little bit more interested in, though, is Wheelie. Killer Body's also doing Revenge of the Fallen Wheelie, which is my favorite Wheelie. Please don't be mad at me for saying that. I think he looks really cool. He's going to be like, I think they said around a foot tall, which is accurate to the movie. I'm not going to get either of these. If I were to get one, it would be this Wheelie. But really, I just want another Wheelie because the only good Wheelie toy is that Revenge of the Fallen one. And I've just never seen him in person. I would love to, though, because I like the design a ton. Oh, God. Here we go. So, there are new NFL Transformers. And I saw a lot of people making the same tired joke of like, what? Nerds don't watch football? Okay. At this point, football and Transformers, there actually is a lot of crossover. I'm not saying that these are like dumb or weird. Here's what I'm going to say is they chose some sucky teams. This is where we're going to find out that Ron Bondajon has very opinionated views on football. I know you think that I'm a nice, like, welcoming corner of the Transformers fandom. Well, I'm a football gatekeeper. A lot of these teams suck. We're going to go through them. Hey, if you're not tired of losing yet, grab the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't like the Chiefs. They suck. I'm glad you lost the bowl, losers. But you can see this is going to be the most normal one. So there's the shared body, but there's two different heads. Two teams have one head, the other teams have the other. We got the human head with the Kansas City Chiefs, which is great because they're trying to convince you that they're human when really they're just a suck machine. I'm so glad that the Eagles beat these losers. And then you got the Steelers. I actually used to live under Steelers fans. They sucked too. I couldn't, every night when their team would lose because the Steelers suck, I would hear them stomping and screaming. I would have to go to work having not had any sleep because they were still crying about it at 3 a.m. At least the head here is cooler, I guess. Oh, good. The Dallas City Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys. Another great team if you enjoy losing. Everything's bigger in Texas, right? Except for win records, apparently. And also, the colors suck. And I will say this. I'm glad that they gave this guy the loser head sculpt that looks like he's wearing a cap. Because quite frankly, if I was a Dallas Cowboy, I'd also try to wear sunglasses and a cap to try to hide my face. I wouldn't want anyone to know that I was a part of this team. I actually don't have any heat for the Green Bay Packers. I don't know. I don't care about them enough to have any thoughts on Green Bay. The colors are nice. This is probably the best looking one. If I were to get one of these, I would get Green Bay, but I don't want any of these. They chose 4 sucky teams. If you want to come at me in the comments, come at me. The Kansas City Chiefs. What a waste of a friggin' slot. I hate the Chiefs. I am so happy to see that they lost, especially seeing like what some of their players are getting into nowadays. Good. I'm glad you ate shit. My favorite team are the Birds. I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. That's who I'd want to see. Why aren't the Eagles getting a toy? They won the Super Bowl, for God's sake. But no, I'm glad to see that we got the first runner-up, which is to also say the first loser, and then all these other jobber teams. Alright. These are way better. You want to know why? Because at least some winners got into this. Zuru is doing like a blind box kind of thing. Basically, they're like Kinder Surprise eggs. You get the ball, you open it up. You got one of 10 designs inside. What's really weird is you get 3 robots and then a bunch of vehicles. So just to be clear, these guys don't transform. When you open it up, you'll get a Megatron robot or a Megatron tank, an Optimus robot or an Optimus truck. They're using the evergreen designs. Truth be told, the paint is actually pretty nice. These guys are going to be pretty small. And for miniatures, like, Megatron looks a little bit iffy because the fusion cannon's super low, but Optimus looks really nice for, like, a mini Optimus. Bumblebee looks a little bit iffy. The truck, or rather, the car mod also looks weird. I find it really strange that Soundwave and Starscream are only here represented by the vehicle modes, but at the very least, they both look kind of cool. And then the Chase variant is going to essentially be Goldbug. It's just the car mode in gold paint. These aren't for me, but, you know, kind of cool that they're coming out, I guess. Here we go. Now, this is for me. MDLX Transformers Red Alert. MDLX 3.0 already did Sideswipe last year. Now they're redecoing it into Red Alert. I've not gotten Sideswipe yet. Not because I don't want Sideswipe, it's just I've not had a chance to see him and also have the money to do it at that moment. But I would rather get Red Alert. I've always preferred Red over Sideswipe, and I think that he's wearing this mold so much better. The colors look so much better. I love that he's coming with the little zaps around his head from Auto Berserk. They should have been blue. I will say that. They should have been blue, but the orange does look nice, so it's fine. And you know what? Maybe Hasbro should have listened to Red Alert. You know, Red Alert's really paranoid. Maybe Red Alert would have pointed out that we shouldn't have made toys of the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like getting toys of Team Rocket, except Team Rocket is fun. We're getting boring losers. Who wants a boring loser? Hey guys, do you want to get my Jinder Mahal action figure? How about my Barry Horowitz action figure? I don't know why I'm bringing wrestling into this. I'm sorry. I have a lot stronger opinions about football than I thought I did. That's what I found out today. But I want to thank my producers. I hope I don't lose any producers because of my football takes. But thank you, Oscar and Jaboy, Confish, Sin and Incinerator, always great to see. Silver Shot and God Empress Music, hello, hello. Delinquent and Cool Colin 17 holding down this fort. And finally, Angel, thank you all so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you would like to support me, $1 will get you access to my Discord server. $5 will allow you to see videos early and download videos directly from me. And finally, $10 will allow you to make direct video requests to me and you'll be a producer and show up in my credits. I want to thank everyone so much for watching. And I do want to say this again. I hope that we all, going forward, take just a little bit more time to appreciate the artists that work in Transformers. I really hate every time we have a situation, like, say, with David Schleinkopf, in which we don't have proper respect paid to them until they've already passed. I remember, I'm a wrestling fan. I remember watching a Dark Side of the Ring episode, and someone was talking about their uncle. Their uncle's name was Supreme, and Supreme died thinking that no one ever remembered him. And it was only after that they got these hundreds and hundreds of emails and letters, people talking about how much they love Supreme and how they still had Supreme VHS tapes, and they had a Supreme t-shirt they made. And it really broke the heart of this nephew, because Supreme died thinking everyone forgot about him and being depressed because of that. And I hope we can move away from that. If you really like someone, if you adore their work, I'm not telling you to go be a problem. Never do that. But maybe if they make like a post on social media or something, just say like, hey, I love your work. Just every so often, let them know. Because I hate the idea that there's people who die thinking that they were forgotten, and only in death do the people come out to finally give these creators their flowers. But on that note, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see what we get up to next time.